Behind-the-scenes story of the top 100 classic lines in film history.
I'll be back.
This line in The Terminator was ranked 37th in the American Film Institute's top 100 classic lines of the century. The incredible thing is that Schwarzenegger had also expressed his opposition to this line. Said Schwarzenegger felt that T-800, as a robot, will not be able to speak in a proper manner, so he sincerely suggested to Cameron that this sentence should be changed to "I will be back." After listening to Cameron said, "I still like that, don't change it." But Schwarzenegger did not die in the sight of various proof that "I will" is more suitable for the robot setting. Finally, Cameron managed to get annoyed with him and shouted, "Tell me what the fuck is written in that script." Schwarzenegger weakly said, "I'll be back." Carthage said, "Then give me a fucking script to follow. I'm not picking on your acting, so don't pick on the fucking script I wrote, okay?" And that's how the classic line was born, amidst Cameron's angry curses.
May the Force be with you.
This line from Star Wars was ranked the 8th in the American Film Institute's top 100 lines of the century. When George Lucas designed this line, George Lucas designed the line by referring to the well-known Catholic blessing at Mass, "May the peace be with you," and similar to Cameron, Lucas' lines in the script were also questioned by the actors. He wrote most of the dialogue. The actors feel awkward because Lucas's line skills are not as good as his directing skills. Harrison Ford even told him frankly that "You can write this shit, but I can't say it." The director also knows that he wrote the dialogue is a bit poor and agreed to allow the actors to improvise their own lines based on the performance scenario, saying almost the same meaning on the line. These dialogue lines not only young actors cannot stand. The role of Obi-Wan's old actor Sir Zachary Guinness is suffering, and even wrote a letter to a friend during the shooting complaining that he would receive every day those new junk dialogue written on a note. Idiotic to unbearable. In the film, his lines improvised more thoroughly. The phrase "May the Force be with you" was changed to "The Force will be with you always" by him.
The Force will be with you, always.
What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
This line in Gone with the Wind was ranked as the first of the top 100 classic lines in the American Film Institute's 100 Years. A classic among classics. But this line was almost deleted during the shooting because Hollywood creators at the time had to follow the restrictions of the Hays Code. This kind of curses involved in the class of swear words can never be used. But the creators are scratching their heads because the original words in the novel is this: very classic. Change will not have that meaning. So David, the producer, made 3 preparations. First, he discussed with the director and scriptwriter about what words to use instead to pass the review. They think out more than 20 lines of dialogue, such as "What you really make me sick," "I will not give you a hair to hell," "You are insignificant and I have nothing to do with it," etc. The second is to slyly argue with the censors. The word "damn" in the script does not mean cursing at all. It is purely a swear word to strengthen the tone, so it is not a violation. Third, to pressure the Codex office through the studio. If you have to nitpick, we'll see about that later. Finally, the censors gave in and agreed to their limited use of the word. Translated, don't get in your face, just say a word or two. In addition, although you are approved to use, but you still have to pay the fine. This 4-letter word fined the crew $5,000.
Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
This line in 007. It was ranked 22nd in the American Film Institute's top 100 lines of the century, and is the most famous self-introduction in the history of cinema. But what's funny is that Fleming, the author of the James Bond novels, intended the name to look ordinary and common. At the time, Fleming was racking his brain for a name for the protagonist of the novel, but he couldn't think of a name that was both boring and simple, until he saw the book on the shelf, The West Indies Bird Atlas by American ornithologist James Bond. Fleming immediately lit up. My goodness, this is simply the most boring name I have ever heard. The main character of the novel is called this name, and the original ornithologist, Bond, knew about it 10 years later. So how did he know? First, after the novel became a hit in the United States, the ornithologist had nothing to do but harass phone calls asking him if he was 007 or not a British spy. Secondly, his daughter-in-law saw Fleming on TV admitting on a talk show that the author of the Bird Book was the source of the novel's protagonist's name. Although the ornithologist did not take it seriously and thought it was funny, but his daughter-in-law wrote a letter to Fleming to tell him that her husband knew about it, and Fleming is also a decent person. Immediately returned a letter to apologize and sincerely invited the ornithologist Bond couple to his home. And after the two sides met, Fleming not only sent a gift of apology, but also said to the ornithologist Part.1 authorize you to use my name Ian Fleming without restriction. For example, if you want to name a terrible bird in an insulting way after you found it, just use my name, such as Fleming's chick or something.